Humanity's Backup Plan. Chapter 1, Arrival of the Invincible Armada. Warlord Zixenflar, Supreme Commander of the Xantarian Armada, leaned back in his command chair, surveying the blue-green planet through the vast windows of his bridge. Earth. A backwater rock on the edge of the galaxy, but home to a surprisingly resilient species. Primitive, stubborn, annoying, but no longer. Today, Zixenflar announced to his crew, we will break their will. Today, we demand Earth's surrender. He pressed a button, and his voice boomed across Earth's entire communication grid. Every screen, every device flickered to life with his imposing visage. People of Earth, I am Warlord Zixenflar, conqueror of systems, breaker of empires. Surrender now, and your species may yet serve a purpose in the grand scheme of the Xantarian Dominion. Resist and face extinction. He paused, waiting for the terrified pleas for mercy, the frantic negotiation attempts, maybe a misguided attempt at defiance from some half-witted world leader. Instead, the screen flickered. Then a new face appeared, human, bored-looking, wearing thick-rimmed glasses and a beige suit that screamed middle management. Yeah, hi, the man said, chewing what appeared to be a pencil eraser. You need to submit an invasion request. Zixenflar blinked. Excuse me? You'll need to fill out Form 82B, Application for Foreign Occupation, plus Form 72C if you plan to establish a military presence. Also, there's a processing fee. You can submit via fax, email, or in person at the Ministry of Extraterrestrial Affairs. Zixenflar's fists clenched. This is not a negotiation. I demand your immediate surrender. The man sighed. Look, pal, I'm just following protocol. No form, no invasion. We're not barbarians. The screen went black. Chapter 2, Welcome to Human Bureaucracy. Zixenflar's blood boiled, but protocol was protocol. He dispatched his lieutenant, Zorgoth, to the nearest city to take it by force and demonstrate the seriousness of their intentions. Zorgoth landed outside a nondescript government building, plasma rifle in hand. He stormed through the front door, demanding the city's unconditional surrender. But instead of meeting resistance, he was handed a clipboard. Sign in here, please, the receptionist said without looking up. Zorgoth stared. Do you not understand? I am here to file for an occupation permit. Yeah, we get that all the time. Take a seat, you're number 246. We'll call you when it's your turn. Zorgoth glanced around. The waiting room was full. Aliens, humans, one particularly large mutant lizard with a clipboard of its own. He sat down, plasma rifle resting on his lap, his 3 hearts pounding with barely contained rage. Across from him, a child licked an ice cream cone, completely unfazed by the armed invader. How long does this usually take? Zorgoth asked the receptionist after an hour of waiting. She looked up and smirked. Oh, anywhere between 6 months and a year, depending on how quickly you can file the right forms. Chapter 3, Stuck in a Paperwork Nightmare. Meanwhile, back at the Xantarian mothership, Zixenflar was growing impatient. His fleet, capable of leveling entire star systems in minutes, was now bogged down by requests for details on alien cultural rights, occupational safety standards, and zoning regulations. This is absurd, he roared, slamming his fist on the control panel. Why do these humans make everything so complicated? His second-in-command, General Krizdek, frowned. It's some kind of trap. They're stalling us. They want to lull us into complacency, sap our resolve. No, Zixenflar said, eyes narrowing. It's worse. It's deliberate. They've weaponized bureaucracy. 3 days passed, and Zixenflar finally received an email from Earth's government. He opened it with anticipation. Surely it would be a document of surrender. Instead, it was a request for clarification about his species' reproductive habits and whether Xantarians posed a threat to Earth's ecosystem. The file was 300 pages long. General Krizdek, Zixenflar said quietly, find whoever is responsible for this and vaporize them. But Krizdek merely sighed, holding up a form. We can't. We need approval from their Environmental Impact Board first, and that requires an in-person meeting. Chapter 4, The Maze of Approvals. 2 weeks into the invasion, Zixenflar found himself at the headquarters of the Ministry of Extraterrestrial Affairs, stuck in a waiting room. His temper simmered as an elderly woman flipped through a stack of ancient magazines, oblivious to his fury. They cannot possibly believe this will work, he muttered to himself. But deep down, a realization was dawning. The humans didn't just believe it would work. They knew it would. At last, a voice crackled through the intercom. Warlord Zexenflar, please proceed to room 16A for your pre-invasion consultation. He was led to a small, windowless room where a middle-aged man with a bad comb-over sat behind a desk. So, the man said, flipping through a dossier, you're here to conquer Earth. Very exciting. But before we begin, we need to discuss your plans for mitigating carbon emissions. I assume your invasion force runs on something more eco-friendly than fossil fuels? Zeixenflar stared in disbelief. We power our ships with the energy of dying stars. Yeah, that's not gonna fly here. Have you considered solar? It's very trendy right now. Chapter 5, Lost in the Red Tape. Zexenflar's once proud armada was now a shadow of its former self. His officers were buried under mountains of paperwork, dealing with requests for business permits, lawsuits from animal rights groups, and complaints from local businesses about increased foot traffic around the alien landing zones. Lieutenant Zorgoth had been in line at the Ministry of Land Appropriation for 3 days straight, still waiting for his application to seize a small city block. He was now number 713 in line. His plasma rifle had long since been confiscated at security. One of the invaders, a grizzled warrior named Vrox, had a nervous breakdown after spending 72 consecutive hours trying to complete a single form online, only for the system to crash just before he hit submit. He wept openly, muttering something about password requirements. Chapter 6, The Final Straw. Weeks turned into months. The aliens, once a terrifying scourge of the galaxy, were now reduced to filing complaints about the inefficiency of Earth's bureaucracy. Zeixenflar's forces had dwindled. His soldiers were demoralized, physically and mentally drained. Some had even started attending yoga classes or volunteering for local charities to pass the time. Then came the final blow, a memo from Earth's newly formed Galactic Occupation Oversight Committee. Zexenflar's request for planetary domination had been rejected on the grounds that his submission was incomplete. They required triplicate forms, and he had only provided one copy. He stared at the memo, speechless. Chapter 7, The Great Escape. In the dead of night, Zeixenflar gave the order to retreat. The once mighty Xantarian armada slunk away from Earth, its ships now battered not from battle, but from sheer bureaucratic exhaustion. As they passed the moon, Zeixenflar collapsed into his chair, defeated. No civilization could survive that, he muttered to himself. Not even us. Back on Earth, the invasion went largely unnoticed by the general public. To them, it was just another minor blip on the news cycle, sandwiched between a debate on traffic laws and a celebrity marriage scandal. In a small office in Washington, D.C., a clerk filed away the last of the alien paperwork with a satisfied smile. Handled, she said, and reached for her coffee. The legend of Earth. Rumors of Earth spread quickly through the galaxy, not of their military prowess or their cunning, but of their bureaucracy. Other warlords spoke in hushed tones of the humans, the only species capable of making the most fearsome empire in the galaxy, give up without firing a shot. From that day forward, Earth was known as the bureaucratic black hole, a place where no conqueror dared set foot. Zeixenflar, now retired, spent his days giving motivational speeches to other aspiring warlords. Never underestimate the power of red tape, he warned. It can conquer where even the mightiest armies fail. The galaxy listened, and Earth remained unconquered.
Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more original content. New chapters and standalone stories uploaded weekly.